Yo, what is going on, Zam family? It's just Mike and Ike today. And today we're going to be doing the first mini episode basically on weeks where we can't record. We'll do like a mini episode featuring like maybe one of us. Maybe we'll react to a video. Maybe we'll do like a tier list. Maybe we'll do something else. But uh, it's just a way for us to get content out on weeks where all three of us can't record, normal episodes. So yeah, today we're gonna be doing my official March Madness bracket. This is gonna be considered my main bracket. So I hope I do pretty good on it. Last year I predicted 3 of the 4 Final Four teams. My bracket was, I think, over 90% accurate. So that was one of the best brackets I've ever had. So hopefully this year I can do around the same, if not better. But you never know with March Madness. Anything can happen. So, and it's purely luck. There's no skill in this at all. So if your bracket is cooked in the first round, don't, be too upset because this is purely luck. The odds of you getting a perfect bracket are not high. So yeah, let's jump into it. Make sure you guys follow our social medias on the screen. And yeah, let's jump right into it. All right, so we're going to start with the East region. Duke and Siena. As a Duke fan, this is not biased. I just don't see a world where Siena wins. Yes, it's March Madness. Yes, anything can happen. But Duke is the best team in the country. There's a 85% chance that Duke makes it to the Final Four. And I personally believe, even with the 2 injuries we have, that we're still going to go all the way. Caden Boozer has stepped up a lot, playing out of his mind. Plus, we have Cameron. We have a solid team, and I don't see a world where Siena beats Duke. So I'm taking Duke. Ohio State and TCU. This is one of those where it could go either way. But personally, I'm going to take Ohio State. St. John's in northern Iowa. St. John's has a really, really, really good coaching staff. And I know that for sure. And northern Iowa hasn't really done a whole lot this season. So I'm going to take St. John's. Kansas and California Baptist. This is one that people have been questioning because, yes, it is March Madness. Anything can happen, but nobody really knows anything about California Baptist. You never know. We could have another Oakland situation, to say the least. But Kansas does have a history of getting upset in the first, second round. But they also, the elite program that Kansas has had, the history behind it. I think this is a year where they make a deep run in the tournament. So I'm going to pick Kansas. Louisville and South Florida. So South Florida is a very underrated team in my opinion. Always has been an underrated team in the tournament. They've never really, made it past the third round. But Louisville has not been the best of teams this season, in my opinion. I'm going to pick Louisville. Michigan State and North Dakota State. Personally, I don't see a world where the Bisons beat the Spartans, so I'm going to pick the Spartans. North Dakota State just hasn't really done anything this season. All right, now this is one I was thinking about earlier. UCLA and Central Florida. I'm going to pick Central Florida. They've always been an underrated team. Uh, and I think this is a year where they can make a run into the Sweet 16 at least. So I'm going to pick Central Florida. UConn, Furman. I'm a fan of the SoCon Conference. Furman has a really good freshman. I think he's averaging the most points on the team. He's a leading scorer. But I don't know if that's going to be enough for a team like UConn. Sorry, Furman, but I'm going to pick UConn on this one. All right, let's do the West region next. This is a no-brainer. Arizona's going to beat Long Island. Villanova, Utah State. I got Villanova. Now, this is a very interesting one, and this is going to be my first upset first major upset of my bracket. I'm going to pick High Point over Wisconsin. High Point has always been an underrated team, and I feel like this is a year where they can make a solid run into the Sweet 16. So I'm going to pick High Point. Arkansas and Hawaii. I'm going to pick the Razorbacks. BYU or Texas or NC State. I'm going to pick BYU. AJ DeBanza is one of the best players in the country, projected to be at least top 3 in the NBA draft. He's playing out of his mind. I think he averages like close to 30 points a game, which is absurd. So I'm going to pick BYU. Gonzaga and Kennesaw State. I don't see a world where Kennesaw State beats Gonzaga. The Zags, they're a prolific program. They make it really far. So I'm going to pick the Zags. The Bulldogs. Miami and Mizzou. Mizzou could upset, but I'm going to pick Miami, but I don't see them getting past the round of 32. I think they're going to lose to my next pick, which is going to be Purdue. I don't see a world where Queens beats them, but you never know. Anything can happen. Let's do the South region. Florida. This is a no-brainer. Clemson and Iowa. I actually am going to pick Iowa on this one. Clemson, I don't see them getting far. They didn't really play well in the ACC tournament against Duke. And I just think the momentum of that going into the tournament, I don't see them getting past the first round. So I'm gonna pick Iowa. Now this is an interesting one. McNeese and Vanderbilt. McNeese has always been like a sleeper. Like they made it. Amir Khan. They've made it past the first round a few times. I mean, I'm gonna pick McNeese. Nebraska and Troy. Nebraska. Okay, now VCU and UNC. I'm gonna pick Carolina. I don't like Carolina. I'm a Duke fan, but I think they'll win that. Illinois. I will say, I don't think Carolina is gonna make it to the Final Four or the Elite Eight. I think they'll lose in the Sweet 16 if they get past Illinois. But I do think Illinois is gonna win this game. St. Mary's and A&M. I'm going A&M. And Houston, Idaho. Houston. Midwest region. For the first round, I'm really just thinking, but I'm gonna think more harder when it gets to these. So I know I'm going through these kind of quick. UMBC, Michigan. I'm gonna pick Georgia. Tech and Akron. Now, Akron could win this game. Who is Akron's coach? Isn't Akron's coach... He played in the league. No! Akron's coach... Hold on. Didn't he play with LeBron James? Or am I tripping? No. I'm going to pick Tech. Alabama and Hofstra. I'm going to take the Crimson Tide. Now, this is very interesting. Miami, Ohio, Southern Methodist, or Tennessee. So, there has been a lot of speculation around Miami, Ohio, because they are undefeated. They haven't lost a game this whole season. They're like 32-0. But I don't... So, yeah, there has been a lot of speculation about how they're going to do in the tournament. But, to be honest, I don't think they're going to get past Tennessee. Tennessee is a very solid team. And I don't see a world where they win that game. Virginia and Wright State. Virginia has always had a history of losing early, but I think this is a year where they're going to make it further than the first round. So I'm going to pick the Cavaliers on this one. Kentucky and Santa Clara. I'm going to pick the Wildcats. Iowa and Tennessee State. Iowa State and Tennessee State. I'm going to pick Iowa. All right, so the first round has been done. We're going to go to the round of 32. Duke and Ohio State. I'm going to pick Duke. As I said, Duke is overdue for a national championship. Duke is the best, by far, the best team in the country, and there's no debate about that. Even with the injuries, we are still performing like a number one team in the country. And I also believe if we do get our two injured players back, that we will win the national championship. So I'm going to pick Duke. And as I said, Caden Boozer has stepped up a lot. He played really well during the ACC tournament. So if he just keeps playing that well, along with his brother, who is the best player in the country, we will make it far in this tournament. So I'm going to pick Duke. Duke headed to the Sweet 16. Kansas and St. John's. I'm going to pick St. John's. I have confidence that St. John's is going to get past the Jayhawks. Their coaching staff, their experience, I feel like could get past Kansas. Louisville and Michigan State. Ooh, I'm going to pick Michigan State. Now, UCF, you had a good run. You made it past the first round. But UConn is headed to the Sweet 16 to play Michigan State. Now this one, I got Florida. Jayhawks had a run, but I'm gonna pick Florida. McNeese, you had a great run, but I'm gonna pick Nebraska. The Tar Heels, you had a great run, but I got Illinois. Now, this is an interesting one. A&M could upset Houston, but Houston has had a good streak recently of making it far in the tournament. So I'm going to pick the Cougars on this one. Okay, Arizona and Villanova. Arizona. Okay, guys, this is going to be my first underrated team to make it to the Sweet 16. I have full faith that High Point is going to make it past Arkansas. BYU, Gonzaga. I'm going to pick BYU. And the reason I say that is because AJ Debanza. AJ Debanza is going to play out of his mind, I feel like, and they're going to get past the Zags. I'm going to pick Purdue over Miami. Miami, you had a great run, but next year, hopefully you do better. Let's do the Midwest region now. I got Michigan. I'm going to take Tech over Alabama. I'm going to take Tennessee over Virginia. And I'm going to take Iowa State over Kentucky. Now we're in the Sweet 16, guys. Sweet 16. I'm going to take Duke over St. John's. So they'll be in the Elite Eight. I'm going to take Michigan State over UConn. So this is going to be a rematch. This has happened before, Duke and Michigan State. I'm going to take Florida over Nebraska. I'm going to take Houston over Illinois. High Point, you had a great run, but I'm taking Arizona. And Purdue over BYU. BYU, you had a great run, BYU. And then I'm going to take Michigan over Tech. And I'm going to take Iowa State over Tennessee. So now we're in the Elite Eight, guys. The last 8. I'm going to take Duke over Michigan State. I'm going to take Arizona over Purdue. So the first, So the first 2 teams in my Final Four are going to be Duke and Arizona. And I'm going to take Florida. And I'm going to take Michigan. So our Final Four this year, guys, is going to be Duke and Florida and Arizona and Michigan. Okay. So for our national championship game, we'll start with these. I'm going to take Duke beating Florida. And I'm going to take Arizona beating Michigan. And for the national championship, I'm going to take Duke Blue Devils over Arizona. And tiebreaker, how many total points will be scored in the championship game? I'm going to say 162. That's, like an 80 type. I personally feel like it's going to be around like 84 to like 80 or like something like that. Like really close. So I'm just going to put 162 points. Enter the All-State, enter the Coors Light. Oh, I must be 21. Oh, I'm not 21. I'm 19. Okay, so we'll enter this to win. Okay. All right, guys. This is my official March Madness bracket. I think I did pretty good. I have a history of successful brackets. As I said, I predicted 3 of the 4 Final Four teams last year. If I have a screenshot of my bracket, I'll put it on the screen. It was over 90% accurate, and I feel confident with this one. I feel like this is a solid bracket. I don't think many upsets are going to happen this year, hence why a lot of these teams are 1 seeds. If these I think these 4 teams are going to be in the Final Four, but the results could be wrong. Like, I feel like Michigan could be, or maybe Duke loses to Florida, or Duke loses in the national championship, but you never know. Hope you guys enjoyed this little mini episode. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, subscribe, follow the Zan Podcast Instagram page, TikTok. And yeah, it's been your boy Mike N Ike, and we will see you soon.